So I actually went into this composite with a plan. So because of all the wildfires that were happening here in California, a lot of the sunsets look like a scene from a Star Wars movie, and then with The Mandalorian finally coming back, I thought I'd just combine the two. So like always, I start with the background, which was this desert landscape. Then after that, I started to add my characters. So first I added Mando, and then I added Baby Yoda, and sometimes it's hard to find the images you're looking for. So obviously, it's easy to find Mando and Yoda by themselves, but just like the backs of them, and then having that with a decent resolution as well. And it's just like sometimes you have to compromise because you can't get exactly what you're looking for. Then after I had my main subjects in, I did a frequency separation to fix the desert background to look more like I wanted it to. Next, I added the sunset that I wanted to use to replace the sky that came with the sand background. And then sometimes it's hard to think ahead in a non-destructive way, and here was where I realized that I should have added the sunset at the beginning with my background, so I had to delete and redo the frequency separation. Then after I had the general layout of everything, I started to fine-tune everything, so I changed the hue saturation of my sunset to a blue color because the orange just matched the sand too much, then played around with where I actually wanted Mando and Yoda to be. Next, I changed the color of the sun from white to red because that's what most Star Wars sunsets look like. Then after that, I was starting to add the footprints that would be left in the sand from Mando and Yoda, but then originally I was just going to keep the shadows the same as I got them from the images, but with the direction of the sun it wouldn't have worked, so I just ended up copying Mando and Yoda themselves, and then flipped them vertically and painted them black, and then just used that as my shadows. Then I started to add Yoda's footprints because at the moment where I had Mando's shadow, you wouldn't really be able to see his footprints, but because Yoda's shadow is so small, I was able to give him footprints. But then I moved Mando's shadow, so I was able to give him footprints as well. Then I color corrected and adjusted the highlights and shadows of Mando and Yoda to match the sand. And then again I moved the shadows on Mando and Yoda to be more correct with the sunset, and moved Yoda back a little bit because with his tiny legs he can't really keep up with Mando that well. Then from there I was just cleaning up some things like the sun and where my sky meets the sand. Then I added my Luts to the image to bring out the colors and darken everything so it actually looked like they were in a desert. Then the last thing I did was add a gradient to the sky so the top was darker than the bottom, just like in real sunsets. And here is the final result. So I am happy with the way this turned out, and I was able to learn some new things along the way, like changing the color of a white object and adding footprints of sand, which is always a good thing when you're doing composites.